It's time for AEW All Out 2023 predictions. I'm Chopper Peakwell. I'm joined by Tempest. If this is your first time here on the channel, please do subscribe, like the video, etc. And if you haven't yet, why not join Wrestle League? You can get in your predictions for this awesome season. There are over 8,500 people playing in this with prizes to be won. We only have All In done for this season so far, which means we've got Payback and All Out this weekend. So it's still a great time to join. Get your predictions in. Link is in the description. Totally free to play. Just do it, and then you can win some really cool prizes, like $250 worth of Amazon vouchers. Crikey, that's a lot.
And if you sign up, we might get over 9,000, and that's a meme.
It's over 9,000. And you get to play against all of us as well. It's great. I didn't do fantastic All In.
I haven't checked.
Apparently, I got 10 points out of a possible 20.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
What did you predict?
So I got, like, on an 11-match card, I think I got 4 of them wrong. No. Yes. No. There were 2 that apparently I just didn't predict, which is the FTW title match and the trios match. Apparently I just didn't do predictions for them. Whoops. And then I got, like, I predicted the Golden Elite. I predicted other things that I got wrong.
I know I predicted Adam Cole to win the title.
I think I might have as well. I think I predicted Aussie Open as well to retain. Yeah, there was quite a few I got wrong, but I got my Joker right, which was CM Punk. So he's always doing something for me.
Yeah, won 2 fights that day, apparently.
Yeah, and at All Out this weekend, we will be doing live reactions here on this channel. It will be Tempest and your Jam That champion, Dan Layton.
I'm coming for you, Dan.
And it will be Tempest versus Dan Layton for the Jam That Championship, which means on this show, we will be getting Tempest predictions, and I will be reading out Dan Layton's predictions. He has sent them to me. I'll be his person. I definitely won't read any of them out wrong. Wouldn't want that now, would we, Dan? Wouldn't want that.
LIW.
For life, buddy. Anywho, let's get into some predictions, shall we?
Yes.
So this is 1 week after All In, and I think you can tell, because let's just start off with just a straight non-title match. Let's start with Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs, the match that was made official on the All In 0 hour pre-show. What are your thoughts on this one?
Dynamite-ass match.
Yeah.
You know, like, I like both of these guys a lot. Yeah. I really like Miro. I've been wanting to see him on TV a lot more over the last year, over the last 2 years since he lost the TNT title. My goodness, like, and this is not just a thing with this match, because this match has been, like, built up on TV a little bit. I don't think there's much of a reason for it. Powerhouse Hobbs has just kind of been like, all right, the next step in the book is redemption, so I'm going to beat the Redeemer. I'm like, okay. I don't understand the correlation. You know, I haven't read the Book of Hobbs. But I will say that there were some people, myself included, who were giving AEW the benefit of the doubt when it comes to, oh, well, these pay-per-views are a week apart. You know, there'll be a bunch of angles on the All In show that'll set up matches for the All Out show, and that's why they haven't announced more matches. I don't know about all that. I mean, I guess that's sort of true in the case of some of these matches, but in other cases, like, man, they just booked some stuff.
Yeah, they did.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is a match where it's like, it could go either way. Like, I don't think it really matters one way or the other. Maybe this is a time where they want to give Powerhouse Hobbs a rub. Maybe it's not. I don't know. They had him beat Ricky Starks at All Out last year, and it led to diddly dick. So I don't know.
What's your choice here, Tempest?
My choice is going to be Miro because he's a perfect wrestler.
He's a perfect wrestler. I also would predict Miro, but Dan Layton, crucially, is also picking Miro. So there you go. That's that one. Let's move on to the TNT title match: Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin. This one, obviously, Allin.
Hey, because he's a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's good. Very good. So this obviously has been built up for a little bit, and we had a bit of a Darby and Christian Cage interaction with the coffin match at All In. And
they just had their singles match on Collision, which will 1,000% be better than this match on the pay-per-view.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Yeah.
Freebird title it. Just have Christian be the surrogate champion.
I think it's funnier that he's completely delusional.
That is 100% accurate. And I wrote my TV awards for the magazine like yesterday, and Christian Cage was my notable mention.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, he's so great. I would probably have preferred he just beat Wardlow and be the champion. But the charm of this run is that he's out of his mind.
Yes.
So you'd lose that.
Yes.
But it would also mean that we would see him wrestle more.
Yes.
And I don't know that I wouldn't take that trade-off.
Yeah. So for this match, if it was me personally, I would predict Darby Allin. I think I just think he could do another run. And I think Christian Cage kind of losing it and maybe like being in complete denial, being like, well, he didn't beat the real TNT champ, stuff like that. I think there's a lot of fun stuff that can come out of it. I would pick Darby. What about you?
I will also pick Darby.
Crikey.
Luchasaurus is not doing anything as champion. The doing something as champion is just Christian Cage being the not champion. And I feel like this is like a run that people can look at and be like, that was a fun 3 months.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily need to go on longer than that. I don't really know what more you do after that, because you could just keep having him do bits and finding, orphaned wrestlers, to adopt. But none of them are orphans. They all have moms. But I don't know where else this goes. And you could set up the return of Wardlow after this and have him take the title back. I wouldn't do that, but that's the thing that they seem to love to do, is just circle that title back around to Wardlow and continue on from where he left off. But I am putting forth into the universe the energy that will not happen, and instead we will get Darby Allin once again TNT champion, one of the very best TV wrestlers in the company. I think a title like that, maybe doing some sort of open challenge deal on Collision, similar to Orange Cassidy doing it on Dynamite. I think that would be very good, especially considering the result I have in mind for that Orange Cassidy title match.
Very interesting. Crucially, now this is interesting. Gonna get some controversy here. Dan Layton originally picked Darby Allin, sent it in, and then immediately afterwards said, wait, no, Luchasaurus to retain.
Wow.
And then said, wait, maybe not. And I said, Dan. And he said, I hate this. There's so many stakes here. Luchasaurus to retain.
What do you mean there's so many stakes? There's one stake. It's the TNT title.
It's the That Championship, I think is what he means.
See.
But, which is a big stake.
Championship.
Yeah, exactly. But he has gone, officially, for Luchasaurus to retain. So
Bold.
That is a difference between you guys.
I could see it. I mean, that's the thing with a card like this, and maybe that makes it more interesting for the sake of predictions and a stream like this, because it's like, I don't know.
When you have a bunch of matches that don't matter, you could go either way.
Anybody can win any of these matches, so it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe it makes it so you get halfway through this card, and maybe you've gotten half of them right, but you're not out of it yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other shows, if you miss one of your predictions, then you're like, well, that's me done.
Yeah.
This is not going to be one of those shows, I don't think, unless we predict identical cards from here on out, but I don't foresee it.
We shall see if you guys agree on this next one. The TBS Championship match, Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. Thoughts on this one, Tempest?
I would really like to see Ruby Soho win this title at some point. I think it is too early for Chris Statlander. I say that. I don't remember the last time she defended the title on TV. It's not her fault, of course. But I was really excited for the run of Chris Statlander and making the TBS Championship like, the women's defend on TV every week, workhorse title. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
And then it disappeared.
Then it didn't. Yeah.
I don't know what happened with that. That's a hell of a choice. Chris Statlander, I think, is great. I think Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho have been shortchanged a little bit here, that they could have done something really fun with this rivalry. Granted, I haven't seen Dynamite yet, so maybe there was something on that show, but I don't believe there was. There was a 6-woman tag.
And then Ruby Soho beat her up afterwards.
Okay. Perhaps not then. Because, this all dates back. You remember, Ruby Soho's big heel turn promo earlier this year when she joined the Outcasts. she referenced the reaction that she got when she beat Chris Statlander to go to the finals of the first Owen Hart Cup.
Yeah.
And how everyone booed her because they wanted Chris Statlander to win.
Yeah.
I think you could have done so much to play that up. Be like, I'm going to take all the resentment I've felt over the last year and a half, and I'm going to take it out on you, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm going to take your title after you took the fans' adoration from me. Something like that, you know? I think that would have been really fun, and that would maybe have made me think perhaps Ruby has a shot at winning this title. But I don't think they've done enough to make me believe that she's going to win the title here. I'd like to see her do it at some point, but I'm going with Chris Stat to retain.
Yeah, I would also go with Stat. I think they were bold on Dynamite to say on commentary as Chris Statlander was making her entrance that there's nobody hotter in the women's division right now than Chris Statlander, which I think is
simply a lie.
False, is what I would call that. But I think Chris Statlander's great, and I really want to see her do more with this title. She just hasn't had the opportunity because Tony Khan doesn't care. But regardless, Dan has also picked Chris Statlander to retain.
I figured that one would probably go the same way. Yeah.
Let's go with a big singles match here. No titles on the line in this one, though. It is Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita.
Woo, fun.
This should be a very fun one. I think the start of this build was really good, and then it kind of got a little bit muddied with a lot of the other Golden Elite, Blood and Guts stuff. There's six-man.
It's funny that Blood and Guts just tends to murk up a lot of these storylines for the summer, isn't it?
Yeah. Seems to be a trend. And on
At
Dynamite,
least it was a blow-off this year.
Yeah, that's true.
That's better than last year.
Yeah.
Anywho.
But then on Dynamite, Takeshita was just being shown a PowerPoint presentation from Don Callis about Kenny Omega's weaknesses, which, it's fun. It's not quite the hot go-home angle you'd want, but it was fun. Regardless, though, I'm really excited for this match. I think this could be match of the night. If they are given that showcase spot, and you'd think it's Kenny, there's a good chance that he will be given that spot. I think this could be a real banger. And if it were me predicting, it's not, it's Dan. If it were me predicting, I would pick Kenny.
I mean, this is pay-per-view singles match Kenny Omega. The man don't miss.
It's true.
And, crucially, this is the first time that we have seen him wrestle in a singles match on pay-per-view since losing the AEW World title to Hangman Page.
Crikey. That's a long time.
Which is bonkers.
That's Full Gear 21.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, unless you consider like Forbidden Door, which perhaps you should. But in terms of like AEW's big four pay-per-views, it has been multi-mans and trios matches and everything in between. This is very exciting because I just feel like I look at this match on pay-per-view. I look at this match on paper and I'm like, that's one that Kenny's going to get up for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Like a big match with a DDT guy, someone that he's wrestled previously in Japan.
Yep.
They work not exactly the same style, but a similar style, a style that complements itself. This is one of my most anticipated matches. I was kind of hoping that this match would be all in.
Yeah.
I think this match would have been really, really cool on that show. And granted, I guess they wanted to do a setup six-man tag to get to this match, but I agree. You look at this match, and I think this was really hot coming out of Double or Nothing. That one segment where Don Callis was in the ring just getting nuclear heat with Takeshita cutting his promo in Japanese. Seemed like they had a really fun idea for the presentation of that duo. And then he's just kind of like faded away into the background a little bit. Like they did the Jericho stuff and he was like Jericho's partner for a week and nothing really else to it. I'm hoping that this will kind of heat Takeshita back up. I don't know who's going to win this match. This one I feel like really could go either way.
Yeah.
I think it might be time to give Kenny a win. But I also think that there's probably more legs in all this if Takeshita is the one that gets it. I think there's a bunch of different things you could do. I think if they wanted to, they could have Takeshita win this, have him face Ibushi on another big show, and then potentially at like Full Gear or something, you do Kenny and Ibushi against Ospreay and Takeshita. And tell me that match wouldn't just absolutely blow everyone's dick off. And maybe if they're leading to that being the setup for a Will Ospreay Kenny Omega threequel at Wrestle Kingdom, then all of a sudden that looks a lot better. I don't know. And I think by that logic, I think I'm going to go Takeshita.
That is cool. Let's see what Dan has picked here. He has gone with Kenny Omega.
Ooh, this is fun.
This is fun. This is great. And if you are having fun predicting with us, then why not join Wrestle League? Links in the description. Go get your predictions in. Play against all the rest of us. What a plug and a segue. You're welcome. We then have an 8-man tag team match that was set up on Dynamite. Yeah. Bullet Club Gold. The Guns, that is, Jay White and Juice Robinson versus FTR and the Young Bucks. FTR and the Bucks teaming up on a big stage. What do you think about this one?
I just look at it and go, you're not fooling me. You're not getting one over on me, Tony Khan. I mean, I think we've done the Young Bucks and FTR playful rivalry with their teammates. You know, when FTR showed up in the summer of 2020, and we had that weird 2-month period where they were like allied with the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this isn't how I would do it, but I know where we're headed. We're headed for a big, the big dream match. And we got it, and it was great. Now that dream match has happened. And I don't know why we're now building to this next thing. Granted, again, haven't seen Dynamite, but I look at this. Well, it's an 8-man tag with, 2 of the best tag teams in the world. Jay White's in it. Also, the Ass Boys are there. It looks like it should be a very fun, good match.
Yeah.
This might be like, I don't know if this will be an opener. They tend to like to opener with like a TNT title match or something. But this looks like a perfect Dynamite main event.
Yep.
Get like 4.5 stars or whatever. I don't know why it's on the pay-per-view necessarily. It's all right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. That's what I'd say.
This is the type of match where I see it and go like, I feel like the show and everything wasn't as fully formed in everyone's mind. And granted, things have happened in the last week.
Yep.
And maybe you've changed plans.
Yep.
But I look at it and go like, all right, it'll be a good match. But that's always been some people's criticism of AEW, that's where, the ball kind of stops.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's going to be a great match. And I've always disagreed. But it's like, no, they actually tell really good stories a lot of the time. This is the one where I'm like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah. What's your prediction here then?
I don't know.
You need to know, Tempest. This is the show.
I don't know, though. I mean, you got the two, you look at who's going to take the pin in this match. I don't know. My logical brain would say one of the Ass Boys would. But then you look at it, and it's like, well, you got the Can They Coexist tag team with tag teams going up against a fully formed faction. In theory, the faction should win. The faction just beat the Golden Elite. I guess I'll go with Bullet Club in that case.
Well, Dan has gone for the Bucks and FTR.
I could totally see it.
Yeah, me too.
Can you tell? I don't know who's winning these matches. My Wrestle League score is going down.
Yeah, probably. I would also pick Bucks and FTR, for the record, if it were me. Let's move on to another one. Let's move on to the Ring of Honor World Television Championship match. Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor.
Boy, this looks fun.
I am absolutely jazzed that Shane Taylor is on All Out. That's rad.
That's very cool.
I don't know why he's there, but I'm happy that he is. Good for Shane Taylor. Love that man. I think he's great.
Yeah, I interviewed him last year. He was great.
Yeah, he's awesome. Apparently, he's really good at beer pong.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to test that.
Ollie and Luca play beer pong with him, and apparently he's really good.
I want to test it.
Just went up and was just like, donk.
You and me,
in.
Shane Taylor.
Yeah.
I'll take you on. I learned my beer pong technique from watching Total Divas.
Oh, nice.
John Cena's got a really interesting technique, and I copied him, and it's brought me mixed success.
Mixed.
I'd say more success than not.
You need to work on your technique. Regardless, it is the Ring of Honor TV title. Samoa Joe, Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor won a little tournament on Ring of Honor TV to get this. I think it should be fun. It's big dudes. Big meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah.
It's my favorite kind of match. And if it were me, I would just pick Samoa Joe to retain.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Samoa Joe to retain on this one as well. I think this should be a very fun match. It feels like another one of those matches like on, the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view where it's just like, well, there's a match thrown together the week of the show and it'll be great. I didn't think Pac was going to beat Claudio for the ROH title.
Yeah.
I don't think Shane Taylor's going to beat Samoa Joe for the ROH TV title, especially considering Samoa Joe's like going to be the longest reigning ROH TV champion kind of quietly throughout all this. So I would like to think if these things are meant to matter that there would be a little bit more build-up, a little bit more, you know, a little bit more pizzazz placed on the potential ending of this historic ROH TV title reign. But my goodness, am I excited for this match.
Yeah. Big dudes.
This is I don't know if it's going to be match of the night. There's some really big matches on here that'll be, you know, probably better. But I don't know if I'll have more fun watching any match than this one on the card.
That's valid.
Joey Samoa to retain.
That is also what Dan Layton has picked. Joey Samoa to retain.
Samosif Joseph.
Let's move on to a tag team match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Not that one, sorry. For the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. MJF and Adam Cole, your new champions. Now, this is a spoiler for Rampage. If you don't want to know it, skip ahead. But they're doing a battle royal on Rampage to determine the number one contenders. We know who the winners are. And if you think it's the Kingdom, it's not. They're not even in it.
Thought it could have been the Hardys. Could have been Aussie Open.
Yeah.
Like do a not buy-in match and have them go like 25 minutes, tear the house down.
Yeah. They've got the kangaroo kick scouted now, you know, stuff like that.
That's not what they did.
No. It's the Dark Order.
Where the have they been?
Ring of Honor is where they've been.
Fair. I suppose these are Ring of Honor tag titles.
Yeah, the Ring of Honor tag titles.
Title matches on this show, Ring of Honor.
I
thought we'd done this.
Just feels like there were other options for this match that weren't the Dark Order. Don't get me wrong. I really like the Dark Order. I think they're a great tag team. Just feels like there are other options they could have done for this match that they didn't.
Feels like a Rampage main event.
It does feel like a Rampage main event. You're right. I reckon it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's MJF and Adam Cole. They're going to make some magic in there because that's what they do.
This show is kind of giving me big, like, Backlash 2022 vibes, you know? Where it's just like, man, they're going to do a lousy buy rate, but it's going to be fun.
It'll be all right.
That six-man tag in the main event of that show was great.
Yeah.
Everybody liked it. Did it need to happen? That's how I feel about half the matches on this show.
Yeah.
You know? And this is one where I was just thinking, like, either on my way into work or yesterday or whatever, I was like, I really miss that era where you had, like, the up-and-coming tag teams that would get the title defenses in, like, the opening matches of Rampage back when Rampage was, like, important. And you would just have, like, the Young Bucks going through all the different tag teams, facing the Dark Order, facing Top Flight, facing the Acclaimed, facing all the fun, young, underneath teams that aren't going to have a chance of winning, but are going to have a really fun match and getting to have a really good match on national TV, meaning a lot. That's really cool. I missed that time. I did not mean when I said that I wanted the Dark Order to come out of seemingly nowhere to be on AEW's All Out pay-per-view, challenging the world champion and his rival / best friend for the tag titles they just won.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of a head scratcher. Like I said, it's going to be a great match.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of John Silver in particular. Alex Reynolds is also great. Why? I don't know.
Yep. Who you picking?
I'll give you two guesses.
That's generous of you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Adam Cole and MJF.
Oh, you did it in one. You're very impressive.
I'm so smart.
I think there's a weird outside chance that the Dark Order win this match.
Yep.
You know?
I think that there could be shenanigans with Cole and MJF.
Maybe they do the turn here.
Yeah, like they could do the turn here. They could have some sort of shenanigans, and they get the Ring of Honor tag titles on a Ring of Honor tag team to take them back to Ring of Honor.
Maybe Roddy Strong costs them the titles.
Roddy Strong and the Kingdom get involved. Like,
sure.
There's shenanigans that could be abound here. I would also pick Cole and MJF, though, which is also what Dan Layton has picked. It's
understandable.
Also Cole and MJF. Yeah. Let's move on to another tag match, this time with no titles involved. This one...
You say that. There's a lot of titles involved.
Well, yes. No titles
just not on the line.
Eddie Kingston and Katsuyori Shibata versus the Blackpool Combat Club team of Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta.
Oh my god! oh my God, it's Shibata.
What? Crazy. That's a stacked old lineup for this tag match. Should be a bunch of fun, I would think. Who have you got in this one?
I look at these 4 guys and I say, who's most likely to get pinned? And I say Wheeler
Yuta. Yeah, that's the answer.
Because you got, your pure champion, you got the NJPW strong champion, who I don't know how often he'll be losing as long as he's got that title. I don't think he's exempt from losing as if he was, the heavyweight champion or something. Yeah. But, I think it gives him a little bit of protection. And then also on the other side, you've got the ROH champion.
Yep.
So I'm looking at this.
And
Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this. And I'm trying to figure out what they're doing for the rest of the year. Because we got Final Battle in like a few months.
Yep.
In theory, we're going to start learning the direction for Final Battle, perhaps. And maybe that's going to be another Eddie Kingston-Claudio title match like we had at Supercard of Honor. It's entirely possible, and I think almost likely at this point, but maybe it depends on which way they want to transition, whether the ultimate goal here is to get to Kingston and Mox versus, as opposed to Kingston and Claudio. I don't know which way they're going to go with it. I think that Shibata wrestling on this show is very, very fun.
It's neat.
I think that they could have leaned a little bit heavier into just going like, here's some New Japan guys. If you're struggling with this card a little bit, and granted they've got their own thing going on, because Shibata at this point is not technically a New Japan guy anymore. No. He's a Ring of Honor guy. But I think this card could have benefited from a few more helping hands.
Yeah.
For this match in particular, I'll probably go Kingston and Shibata, and I'm going to go with Tempest to have a very nice time.
Yeah, I think that's a bold prediction, that one.
Yeah. Can I make that my joker?
Tempest enjoys it.
Yeah.
Lay that down. Lay money on it. Yeah, I think I would think that Kingston and Shibata are also going to win here, which is also what Dan Layton has predicted.
Coward.
Kingston and Shibata. Now let's move on. I believe we have one match left, unless I've missed any. Don't think I have. Which I think has a strong chance of main eventing this show.
I would believe so as well, currently anyway.
Yeah.
Unless something dramatic changes between now and Collision.
It might. There's things... Have you seen what's planned for Collision?
No.
Have you seen the segment?
I have, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The Ricky Starks thing?
Yeah, real interesting, that.
What? Was my first reaction to that, and then went, oh, is Punk going to show up? Was my second reaction.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
Who knows? We don't know the details of his suspension or anything. So.
I don't know what's going on in this company anymore.
Me neither.
I don't know what's up.
Yeah. Regardless, we have for the International Championship, Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley. Orange Cassidy, spoilers for Dynamite, managed to do his successful 31st defense of this belt.
Wild.
Which is great. And now it is Cassidy versus Mox. They had a really nice through line on Dynamite. I think this is the one match that really got some focus on Dynamite, and it really helped. Obviously, I was going to be excited for this match regardless anyway, but they had a Mox match, backstage promos from Mox and Cassidy, and then you had the Cassidy match against Penta in the main event, and then you had Cassidy cutting an awesome promo after the main event. It was all great. It made me very excited for it. And I don't know who I'd pick in this one because I think it can go either way. I think I know who I would I know who I've predicted in Wrestle League, but I'm going to come to you first, Tempest, because you're the one with the stakes in this one. This is for the championship. Who you got in this match?
Jon Moxley.
You think it's time?
I think it's time. I honestly think it's a little bit past time.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just in terms of like the progression of the storyline with Orange Cassidy. I understand that the timing of things has been, all of this has built to, this is a good moment to do it. You give him the win at Wembley, sets up this match, at All Out. I think that's all well and good. I think the storyline that they have been telling with Orange Cassidy, the fighting champion, getting more and more worn down every single week until finally he's too worn down and somebody comes in there and kills him.
Yeah.
I think that is a very good story. It is like my go-to. I want them to do that story like once a year with somebody.
Yeah.
Because it just works. It's just sports. You know, you win and you win and you win, and then you get tired and you can't win anymore. And when is the one where it's too much?
Yeah.
I think they've been doing the story of like, oh, he's so banged up. He's got the taped fist and the thing on his neck and his knee hurts and everything. They've been doing that for like 6 months now, I feel like. Like, I don't know when that Buddy Matthews match was, when they stuck his hand in the turnbuckle and did it. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like that has kind of like, not ran its course, because I'm still very excited for this match. And hell, he might win. But I think if they wanted to do that story to perfection, I think doing it a little earlier would have been perhaps better. Because now I'm just, these last few title shots that people have had, I'm just like, well, he's still not losing.
Yeah.
The suspension of disbelief kind of disappeared after he beat Swerve, I think. But that being said, if you are going to have someone just go in there and absolutely pull this man limb from limb, I think Jon Moxley's a pretty good person to do it.
Yeah.
And he's a top star. I think that you need a top star to go in there and beat him, as opposed to like a young up and coming guy. I don't think that necessarily, because you want the young up and coming guy to beat someone at full strength to get the most out of that. You know, you don't want to beat somebody who's at like 10% health.
Yeah.
You know, but you can do that with an established top star, especially an established top heel.
Yes.
You know, like a Moxley. I think this match could very easily be the best match on the show.
I agree.
It's probably the match I'm like most excited for.
Yeah.
All in all, it is very, very scrumptious.
Yes.
I think it should main event currently, unless something changes. I think it's going to be very interesting seeing this title on a new person.
Yeah, I've predicted Jon Moxley in Wrestle League. I think there's every chance that he takes a title here. And like you said, I think putting it on a top star is really, really interesting. Like former world champ Jon Moxley having the international title looks really good for the belt as well. Like when you have really good runs with the belt and then it goes to somebody else and then they stop caring about it because the guy that they care about now doesn't have the belt.
Right.
I think they have a really strong chance of maintaining the legacy of the international title by putting it on Mox because they will still care because they care about Mox, right? Keeps the prestige of the title going after Cassidy's amazing title reign. So I think this is a really good person to put it onto. I think the time is right. I think you can look back. If Cassidy drops the belt here, you can look back at Cassidy's reign and be like, damn, that was a great run.
One of the best title reigns that I have seen this century.
Yeah. And I think even if the story has overstayed its welcome slightly, I still think the title reign, when looked back upon, will be, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been tarnished in any way. So I think Moxley's also going to win here. And Dan Layton has also predicted Jon Moxley to win.
Coward.
And now finally, before we get out of here today, we have Joker picks to get to. Now, Dan Layton, as the Jam That Champion, gets to pick first. And he has picked Chris Statlander to retain her TBS title as his Joker pick.
Balls.
Yeah, I figured that's where you were going to go. For those who don't know, if it's your first time here, Joker picks. The way that we do it for our prediction system is that every title match is worth 2 points and every non-title match is worth 1 point. And you get a Joker pick. One per, and you can't pick the same match for the Joker picks. When you play your Joker, you can score double points on that match. However, if you get that prediction wrong, you then lose those points instead. So for a title match, you could win 4, but if you get that prediction wrong, you lose 4 points instead. So Dan Layton has picked Chris Statlander, the TBS title match, so could win 4 points if Chris Statlander wins. What say you in rebuttal, Tempest?
Samoa Joe.
Samosif Joseph.
Samoa Joker.
So, oh, there you go. He's done it. Samoa Joe is the Joker for Tempest.
I just did it.
Yeah, I know.
I did it better than that.
You did. But I'm sleepy, so let me off. Samoa Joe is the Joker, and then Dan Layton has Chris Statlander. That is the predictions for AEW All Out 2023. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know your predictions in the comments down below. And don't forget to join Wrestle League. Click the link in the description. Join us. Play against us. It's going to be great. You get to make the picks just like we did just now. You get to have your Joker picks. You get to do all that stuff. Go join. It's really fun. And yeah, click the links. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much. Join us on Sunday for the live reactions to this show with Tempest and Dan Layton for that show. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Chubba Pete Quinnell. Been joined by Tempest. Jam that jam.
I'm coming for you, Dan. And that's the truth.